The Buddha sat peacefully beneath the Bodhi tree, his presence radiating calm and compassion. A man stormed into the gathering, shouting angrily. His words were filled with resentment and fury, accusing the Buddha of false teachings. The disciples stirred uneasily, their gazes fixed on the angry man. Some disciples felt their own anger rising in defense of the Buddha. The Buddha raised a calming hand, signaling them to remain seated and quiet. His eyes held a gentle, understanding gaze, unwavering in the face of hostility. The man paced back and forth, his rage spilling out in heated words. "You spread peace," he shouted, "but you disrupt the traditions we hold dear." His voice cracked with anger as he continued. "You teach the youth to question the old ways, causing division." He pointed at the Buddha, demanding an answer to his accusations. The disciples looked at their master, awaiting his response to the outburst. The Buddha smiled softly, his voice steady and serene as he spoke. "What do you gain by holding anger in your heart?" he asked the man. The man paused, his expression caught between confusion and stubbornness. "I gain nothing," he snapped, still clinging to his rage. The Buddha continued, "Anger is like a hot coal meant to burn another but held by oneself. As the lute string snaps if too tight, or cannot play if too loose. Balance is the key," Buddha said. "In harmony, the mind finds clarity," he taught. "The body thrives, and suffering ceases, unveiling the truth beneath life's surface." His voice was soft yet commanding. The disciples sat in attentive silence, absorbing each word as though each were sacred scripture. "If you offer anger to me and I do not accept it, where does it go?" asked the Buddha. The man blinked, struggling to comprehend the simplicity of the question. "It remains with me," the man replied, his voice less forceful than before. "Exactly," said the Buddha. "And so your anger is yours to carry, not mine." "It is not merely a philosophy," Buddha emphasized. "It is a practice, lived daily, a path forged by every step taken mindfully. Why burden yourself with anger when forgiveness and peace lighten the soul?" asked the Buddha. The man lowered his head, reflecting on the teachings he had just received. "You speak truth," the man said softly, his voice trembling with realization. The disciples observed the transformation, their own hearts swelling with reverence. "Sit with us and let us share wisdom together," invited the Buddha. The man accepted the invitation, his previous anger replaced by curiosity and willingness. He sat among the disciples, the aura of the Buddha calming his restless mind. The lesson resonated deeply within the gathering, inspiring those who witnessed it. The Buddha continued, "Anger clouds judgment and blocks the path to compassion. To overcome anger, one must understand its nature and release it with love," he added. The disciples nodded, absorbing the profound simplicity of the teaching. The once angry man felt the weight of his rage lift, replaced by newfound clarity. "I have been blind to my own suffering," he admitted, his voice tinged with regret. "Anger is suffering, and forgiveness is the remedy," said the Buddha gently. The Bodhi tree stood silent witness to the exchange, its leaves whispering in the breeze. The disciples sat together in meditation, their hearts united in peace and reflection. Another day, under the gentle shade of a sala tree, Buddha spoke, his disciples gathering in anticipation of his wisdom. The fragrant blossoms scattered around, carried by the wind, creating a tranquil aura. As Buddha's voice broke the serene silence, the gathering remained under the shade of the tree, a moment of harmony shared. Through his wisdom, the Buddha reminded all that anger could be transformed into peace. Another day, the Buddha traveled to a nearby village, his disciples following closely behind, their spirits full of reverence. The village was bustling with activity, its residents going about their daily lives under the warm sun. As the Buddha approached the center of the village, a Brahmin stepped forward, his face stern and unyielding. The Brahmin glared at the Buddha, his expression filled with contempt and hostility. Without hesitation, he began shouting insults, his voice echoing through the streets. The disciples froze in their tracks, uncertain how to respond to the Brahmin's disrespect. Another story I share, Buddha began, is of a man who found a wounded bird, its wing broken and spirit subdued. He could ignore the bird, Buddha said, but he chose otherwise, tending it, nourishing its body, until it could fly once more. Compassion, like balance, exists within actions, not thought alone, Buddha explained. To live compassionately is to act harmoniously, with love and care. The Brahmin's voice began to waver as he saw no retaliation from the Buddha. Why do you not respond? Are you too afraid to defend your teachings? He demanded angrily. The Buddha spoke, his voice steady and filled with wisdom. If a guest refuses food, where does it remain? The Brahmin blinked, taken aback by the unexpected question, his anger faltering. It remains with the host, he replied, his tone losing its edge. Buddha smiled, his expression gentle, radiating the compassion he spoke of, his presence illuminating their hearts with quiet, profound clarity. He pointed toward the falling blossoms. See how each petal falls gracefully, embracing impermanence, yet leaving behind beauty for those who witness. Compassion, Buddha said, is not a sacrifice. It is the flowering of understanding, enriching both the giver and receiver eternally. The Buddha replied, a heart filled with compassion has no room for anger or resentment. The Brahmin listened intently, his gaze fixed on the Buddha's serene face. Anger harms the one who holds it, like a poison consumed by the bearer. The Buddha continued, release your anger, and you will find peace, said the Buddha, his voice calm and reassuring. Another day, beneath the golden hues of a setting sun, Buddha gathered his disciples for what would be his final teachings. His face was calm, timeless, reflecting the wisdom that transcended the mortal bounds of age, sorrow, and impermanence itself. The Buddha gestured for the Brahmin to sit, inviting him into the circle of disciples. The Brahmin hesitated, then joined the group, his heart open to learning and change. The disciples made space for the Brahmin, their faces radiating acceptance and compassion. The Buddha guided the group in meditation, teaching them to cultivate compassion and understanding. The Brahmin closed his eyes, his mind absorbing the peace of the moment. Compassion is the bridge that connects hearts and dissolves anger, said the Buddha, his words resonating deeply. The Brahmin felt his spirit lifted, his thoughts clearer and more harmonious. I see now the burden I have carried, the Brahmin confessed, his tone sincere. The Buddha smiled softly, his gaze filled with encouragement and support. Let go of your anger, and you will find liberation, the Buddha said with gentle conviction. The disciples embraced the lesson, their hearts united in gratitude for the Buddha's wisdom. The Brahmin's transformation inspired those who witnessed it, the village filled with whispers of the event. The Buddha continued to teach, his words flowing like a river of wisdom. The Brahmin became a devoted follower, his anger replaced by love and understanding. How do we live when you are gone, Master? Buddha smiled, his eyes filled with kindness. Live as you have learned, Buddha replied. Another day, the Buddha and his disciples walked to the banks of a serene river flowing through the valley. The sun rose gently, casting golden light over the water, which glimmered like liquid silk. The disciples gathered around the Buddha, their eyes reflecting curiosity and reverence. A young disciple named Ananda stepped forward, his face troubled and voice uncertain. Master, Ananda began, I struggle to overcome anger when confronted by cruelty and injustice. What should I do? The Buddha turned toward the river, his serene gaze fixed on its flowing waters. Observe the river, the Buddha said. his voice calm and steady like the stream itself. It flows freely, adapting to every obstacle without resistance, he continued, gesturing toward the current. The river does not fight the rocks or branches in its path. Instead, it embraces them and moves onward. Ananda watched the water intently, his troubled expression softening as he absorbed the lesson. Master, how can I be like the river and not let anger consume me? Ananda asked earnestly. Among the gathered seekers was a merchant named Ananda, his demeanor both respectful and uncertain, burdened by the weight of wealth. The Buddha greeted him with warmth, his voice a melody of understanding and encouragement. The disciples listened closely, their attention unwavering as they sought to understand the wisdom being shared. When anger builds, pause and breathe deeply, the Buddha instructed, allowing the flow of compassion to return. True wealth is found in generosity, in the act of giving without expectation, in the joy of lightening another's burden, the Buddha said. His words were like raindrops falling on parched soil, nourishing a heart thirsty for meaning. Understanding their pain transforms your anger into empathy, like a raging fire quenched by rain. Ananda nodded slowly, his mind connecting with the imagery and the deeper meaning behind the words. But Master, Ananda asked, what if the anger feels too strong to overcome in the moment? The Buddha raised a smooth stone from the riverbank and held it in his hand. Feel the weight of this stone, he said, passing it to Ananda, who cradled it. Does carrying this stone bring you peace or burden your hand? The Buddha inquired with a knowing smile. Ananda looked at the stone and replied, it burdens my hand, Master. Anger is like this stone, the Buddha explained, a heavy weight we carry needlessly, when we could simply let it go. Ananda stared at the stone, his grip loosening as the realization took hold in his heart. Letting go of anger is an act of kindness toward yourself and others, the Buddha continued. Ananda placed the stone gently back on the ground, his expression lighter than before. The disciples exchanged thoughtful glances, their own understanding deepening through the metaphor. Master, how can we strengthen our ability to let go of anger? Asked another disciple, bowing respectfully. Practice meditation on loving kindness, the Buddha advised, sending thoughts of goodwill to those who trouble your heart. The disciple nodded solemnly, eager to incorporate the practice into daily life. Compassion softens anger, like sunlight melting ice, the Buddha said, his words resonating deeply with the group. Ananda took a deep breath, his troubled heart finding solace in the Buddha's teachings. When we let go of anger, we make space for peace to flow. Like the river, the Buddha concluded. The disciples sat in silence, their meditation guided by the sound of the flowing water. Ananda closed his eyes, imagining his anger dissolving like mist in the morning sun. The river continued to flow, a timeless reminder of the Buddha's profound wisdom. His teachings echoed within my heart, their truth both timeless and personal. Ananda, inspired by the Buddha's wisdom, dedicated himself to acts of generosity, transforming his wealth into a source of compassion and support. Master, your teachings have shown me the way. I will build a refuge for others to come and hear your truth, he said. The Buddha's smile was radiant, his acceptance a testament to the boundless possibilities of transformation. Together, we sat beneath the sheltering banyan trees, the Buddha's words weaving a tapestry of wisdom and compassion. Generosity is the path that transcends suffering, the way to awaken the self and the world, he said. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.